March 15th, 2022 marked Equal Pay Day in America, the date symbolizing how much longer women need to work from the previous year in order to meet the amount men made. This is the reality of the gender wage gap for women in America. Most broadly, the wage gap describes the simple fact that for every dollar men earn, women earn just 82 cents, and this is only the very surface of the problem.
What we have discovered as the statistical work has gotten better and they're able to break all these numbers out is that Asian women make 75 cents, Black women make 64 cents, Latino women make 54 cents, Native American women make 51 cents.
The wage gap is a manifestation of greater inequalities persisting from our past. Historically, women did not have a role outside of the home, confined to caretaking, while men were to be the breadwinners. It wasn't until the end of the 19th century, with the rapid development of industry through the Gilded Age, that more women began to work. But as women joined the workforce and began to change their role, the prejudice of society continued to be embedded in their work.
Back in the 70s, when women started demanding to enter some of the professions that they really had not been allowed to enter, or they were considered very much second-class citizens. They couldn't really progress very much. And so beginning there, women started noticing a lot of the inequalities. The most important, of course, was the wage gap. But, my mother couldn't even get a credit card in her own name. She couldn't buy property on her own. So given that, you can see why society justified giving women lower wages. They were considered housewives.
Since the rise of the issue, movements towards equal rights and wages have resulted in hopeful progress in legislation. The Equal Pay Act was enacted, prohibiting sex-based wage discrimination between men and women. But we still have a long way to go. And in order to address the problem, we have to first understand the causes behind the issue. In horizontal segregation, women are unequally represented in different occupations and industries, instead clustered into pink-collar jobs. These jobs that women end up taking are valued unequally, regardless of the difficulty of the position.
They were almost always in particular occupations, and that's really how it all started. The Librarian of Congress, he found a really good way. It was like his annual report to Congress. And he's like, if we hire women to do these jobs, we can save, and he makes an estimate for how much they can save. And because of that, librarian became a female-dominated job over the next several decades.
Next is the disparities of women in higher managerial positions.
Of course, vertical segregation, women have faced that what we call the glass ceiling. So you can see there are management positions, but you don't reach them.
In the end, occupational clustering, job valuation, and vertical segregation all come down to society.
You see here that women are underpaid, and you start trying to understand why. So you open the first cage and you may think, well, they are not that interested in operational or technical management positions. And then you open that and say, well, that is because women are supposed to have lower degree of skills. And you end up with social roles and how women are seen in society from the beginning of the educational levels.
These problems are increasingly relevant today.
Women have been unequally impacted by the pandemic. First of all, the majority of healthcare workers are women. Also, women were more in the service industries than men, and those were the industries that they were laid off.
More women left the workforce so that somebody would be home because they usually are paid less than men.
In order to address these issues, we need change. At the high level, we need to push for legislation for wage transparency, encourage women and diversity in management and positions of power, and promote inclusive policies and organizations. But at the individual level, we can all help by preventing gendered stereotypes in fields of interest, learning to be inclusive in school projects, and utilizing media by being a digital advocate. Altogether, we can grow beyond our past for a future of equality.